What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Reviews by Ryan channel. Before we start this reaction video, I did want to take just a couple of moments in this video to give a shout out to the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. And I was not actually planning to give a shout out to the awards whatsoever because I felt that all my favorites got snubbed, minus a very select few. But we did have a shocker at this year's awards. So for those of you that actually did not know, yesterday, March 4th, Japan time, around 1:30 to 4:30 EST, Eastern Standard Time here in the United States, the Anime Awards was hosted for the first time in Japan, and it was set up like it was a very Oscar-like setup. It was all fancy and dinner tables and everything. So, but we did have a shocker come out of the awards, and before I talk about that shocker, I'm just gonna put the selections up on screen that were the champions for each category, and then we'll talk for a couple of moments. All right, so as you guys just saw, if you did not know yesterday, the anime of the year for Crunchyroll went to Cyberpunk Edge Runner. Cyberpunk Edge Runner. I got to tell you guys, I am genuinely shocked in a good way. The entire worldwide community just knew, whether they liked it or hated it, that Attack on Titan was going to get the coveted Anime of the Year award. And in my personal opinion, even though Cyberpunk Edge Runners was not my #1 show of last year, in my personal opinion, I think it was a whole lot more creative and hip and fresh than Attack on Titan's Part 2 was. And also, I don't even want to see Attack on Titan get rated for another nomination for Anime of the Year until this final season, final frontier, final part, final entity, final everything is finally over. I think this is a disservice to many anime that are airing each year that also should have a right at that coveted position. And Attack on Titan, while it is near and dear to my heart, and just like many of you, it is a series that will definitely go down as one of the most memorable series in history. I believe that it wasn't a snub. I believe that actually was appropriate given the options that were put on the list. Now, again, my #1 and #2 for last year were My Dress Up Darling and Made in Abyss. But these were two shows that, just knowing how the community tends to run, especially the Western community, I'm not particularly surprised that neither of them were even nominated for the list, because that's just how it goes. And we're not going to get into that in this video. This is just to give a quick shout out to the awards. But Cyberpunk Edge Runners, again, like I said, it was the spinoff to the Cyberpunk 2077 video game. And as many of you know, the video game definitely had a flip-floppity release. And, even now, while it is better, its release wasn't the greatest. But Night City was really a very creative, vibrant, and just kind of dynamic environment. And watching as David and Lucy and Rebecca and all of them went through all the things that they did, it was really enjoyable. I was really captivated by the environment and the story that they were trying to tell. And I just, while there were certain bits of story that I wanted a little more of, which is why I couldn't give it a 9 or 10, it was a show that I watched multiple times. And I know I have good friends that really love the Cyberpunk series as a whole, even with the game and all of its issues that, of course, they've been jumping for joy since the announcement that Cyberpunk Edge Runners took over. Now, last thing I want to say is, what does this mean? Does Cyberpunk beating something like AOT mean that AOT has fallen from grace? No, I don't believe that. I believe what I just said, though, is what's really in effect here. People are tired. We've been going through this final season stuff for 3-4 years now. Now we're in the final chapters, and it's very clear that, unfortunately for MAPPA, they took on a little bit more than they could chew. I don't even blame them 100% for the issues they're having, because anyone that knows MAPPA knows that they just have too much on their plate. And now they're trying to present an entire full story that's taking 10, 15 years probably to actually finish. And the community's exhausted. We know, for the most part, how Attack on Titan's going to end. Obviously, the Rumbling was a monumental scene, and a lot of people thought that Attack on Titan was going to win from that alone. But unfortunately, that's not the way it works, and we're seeing a change in the anime community now. We're seeing a change both in the West and the East, and what keeps people captivated. And with anime now, because a lot of the genres have been explored and hit multiple times, you have to keep it fresh. And I think in this case, it was a shocker to me, because I've been so lit down with this community when it comes to these type of awards, that I had no expectation that anything but AOT was going to win every single award. And AOT did technically walk away with most of the awards. They walked away with 6. So, and that was a majority compared to all the other shows. So, but if it earns those awards, then I don't care. I'm very simple with that. But I don't believe Attack on Titan earned the Anime of the Year award last year, and I'm happy to see that the fan community did agree. So with that said, I just want to make a quick segment to talk about that before I started the reaction. Again, a huge congratulations to the studio and producers behind Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Congratulations on winning Crunchyroll's Anime of the Year. Again, even though this isn't exactly an Oscar award, they're not going to be going into no Hall of Fame or anything for this. It's still big seeing something with something like Crunchyroll, seeing Attack on Titan not take the top spot. So that's all I wanted to say with this segment, and now we're going to go ahead and roll into the next episode reaction to Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, Second Attack. What's up, y'all, and welcome to another review by Ryan, and a very happy Sunday. It is Sunday, March 5th, and I hope you all are doing well wherever you're at in the world at the time you find this reaction. So in today's reaction, I'll be reacting to the 10th episode of the second season of Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, Second Attack. The title of today's episode is Hachioji Senpai Taught Me a Lot. So, just a couple of thoughts about last week's episode. Obviously, last week's episode was the big tournament, and it was solely focused around judo, even though we did have a lot of romantic elements and development of relationships in that episode. So, of course, we did see through the first match with Nagatoro and Gamo that, they had their fight. Nagatoro did win. She seemed to be in good shape, but we did also see some major revelations that transpired between her and Senpai in their following conversation, because shortly after the fight with Gamo happened, Orihara ended up approaching her very all happily and bubbly and was really excited to see her fighting again, and was very excited to be able to have another match with her again. And, as we talked about last week, we're starting to unravel some of the inner struggles that even characters like Nagatoro herself is having that might have turned her into what she is. And we've already seen little hints that despite the fact Nagatoro is very aggressive and very abrasive, and she always tends to do one thing that's sweet and then two things that's just awful, and then we just have to sit here like, my girl, get it together. And but I've always known and believed that there was a bit more to unpack with her, and we got to see some of that in how she responded to Orihara. We got to see that at the end of the day, she's just a really competitive girl. And we always knew that she's really competitive, and she beat herself down really badly after she basically raised a monster, and a monster in a good way, and then she got beat at her own game, and she didn't like that, and so she felt there was no further place for her. And since there wasn't a lot of guidance for Nagatoro, she just kind of succumbed to just not doing judo anymore and holding herself back. So we did see and I forgot to talk about that. Her senpai actually did a great job in his fight. Even though he didn't win, our boy did an okay job. He did a pretty good job, and he was starting to get some tactics there. But back to the discussion. After Nagatoro kind of beat herself down and said she should just drop out of the competition when we realized that she was going to have to go up against the girl again, we did see a couple of minute conversation between her and her senpai come out. Naoto came out, and he really stood up for himself. She actually cut him a real nasty glance, as you saw, and he held his ground, and he told her that basically she shouldn't give up, and that basically she should just push. And he gave her that extra push that she needed to say that she would that she would go out and she would do what was necessary, and she would want a reward for it. So we did get to see the fight that played out between her and Orihara, and even though Nagatoro lost by technicality, you did see her senpai motivate her, and we did get to the end of the episode where after she got her motivation back to continue judo, she actually asked that, if she, does well, she wants a kiss from Naoto, to which he was like, she's playing around, and she was like, I'm not playing around. And I do remember rumors about that panel. I forgot that was when that rumor spread around, which of course now I know was absolutely the truth, but there was a panel that was spreading around that did show her making that comment, and I think that was the panel from the actual source material. So it was great getting to see that animated. And, overall, I thought it was a good episode. Now, I just want to go ahead and get this out the way again, because we tend to have to talk about this here and there. And sorry if I kind of fluff points here and there. Again, when I have a lot of reactions and a lot of shows, I do kind of put some notes up, but notes don't always make sense. And my notes getting into this episode did not make any sense whatsoever. So sorry about that. But you guys watched the last episode, so you know what happened. My opinion, though, really about everything, from the skiing arc all the way to this judo arc, what is simply that I am constantly in a constant battle, battling the positives of Nagatoro, Naoto, and the dynamics of this show to the negatives that tend to follow right after the positives happen. And, obviously for some people, they just want to see Nagatoro finally just calm it down a bunch of notches, be true to herself, be true to her emotions. She knows that she's completely heads over here for her senpai, and just to be true to that. And we know that she's very defensive of him, but then she'll go and do the very things that she defends him against. And for some of the community is just like, I can't vibe with that. And then others in the community are just like, guys, you just have to take it for what it is. That's just the chemistry of their relationship. I tend to be the conservative person in the mix, but again, I do have a couple of friends that genuinely have had to take breaks, even throughout this season, from the show, because they just get tired of her always rebounding every time we've taken one step ahead. And I get it from both sides. I really, really do. And I think at this point, we're getting close to the end of the season. We just need to take it for what it's worth, and then we'll just unpack everything. And when I talk about my end of season rating, we'll talk about that at that time. So that said, good episode, good last couple of episodes, all things considered. And I'm gonna go ahead and get the episode pulled up, be a split second for you guys, and we'll get this started. All right, guys, I'm back. I have episode 10 pulled up, and I remember what I was trying to say, and I was starting to fluff and stumble on my words about. During the conversation between Nagatoro and Naoto, when she was talking about her backstory about the fight and how she got obliterated after Orihara, gained strength with time, you did see that when she made her comment that she was going to just go ahead and get this loss over with, that Naoto called her out on it and was like, this isn't like you at all. And he was very stern and direct about that. She got very offended. That's when she cut him the real harsh glance at him. But he held his ground with that. And I feel that that was a very critical moment. And this leads me to the last thing I want to say before we start this. And this actually resonates with what my friend said last night about this subject. We cannot deny that Naoto is growing as a person and as a character. In ways, I think that he's growing a bit more than Nagatoro is, because he's really starting to hold his ground a lot more to her. This was a very big moment for him. I think this was one of his best shining moments of this entire episode, and I do think it's going to have a great lasting impact as we move to the end of this season and as we continue to progress with their relationship. The only issue is that it feels like he's making a lot more progress than she is. And while I kind of agree, I do think she's making progress too, but she just has to get over all this internal drama that she has going on with herself, and I think she'll be just fine. So that was what I was trying to say, and I just wanted to add that in there because that's just, again, another moment that really starting to show that the shell is starting to slowly but surely break with Nagatoro, and I think things like that are going to help bring her to a state that she can actually start really becoming a great person moving forward in this series. So, that out of the way, I just knocked my cord out. And let's go ahead and get this reaction started in 3, 2, 1. And of course, as we have seen in the trailer to this episode, the art president's sister is going to be making her glorious appearance in front of the rest of our characters. So this is going to be really exciting to see. Now we're back to recruiting members again. Oh, I think we've technically always been recruiting members, to be honest. There's not that many people here. He just can't get his girl out of his head. I swear. My man kind of know what he wants now. He just needs one extra push. Also, I'm finally getting used to his contact self now. It's just so weird now. But he's really growing up. Oh, it's a big deal. A huge deal. Just take it serious. Let it be what it's going to be. And then every time she says creepy, just walk away and ignore. Oh, so she's gone now. So the president's gone now, since now he's a third year. Oh my goodness. I mean, all his motivation now when it comes to art has been coming from her. So it makes sense that that's where he's getting his biggest passion. Oh boy, of course. Why not? She knows what she be doing, and he loves it. I mean, there's no complaints, but I swear, always. I swear. Oh, stop the foolishness. Yep. Yes, there is. Including one that we know very well. Bruh. See, and this is the stuff that my friends be talking about. It's just like, why she even got to keep making these comments at this point? But it is what it is. My man is going to be all messed up now. Stop, because you know you loved him looking at you. If he looks at anybody else, you're going to start freaking out and run around and start killing people. Hey, and Beansprout Senpai been keeping up with you from the very beginning, so hush that mess up. Hey, this 2-star acting that she thinks is 5-star, I swear. I mean, how else? Just go for it. See, my thing is, she knows what she wants. She actively pursues what she wants, but she just has to be such an ass to get what she wants. And that's where the problem lies. And the moment he starts touching you a little bit too forcefully, with massages, it can happen, depending on if you hit the right point, you're going to freak out and run out the room. See? Yo, what if somebody walks in this room right now? Because you know the door ain't locked or anything. He's just complimenting you. I'm very happy to hear that. I am ecstatic to hear that, and that's going to be really good for you. Yeah, she's literally serious, bro. Like, dead serious. Yeah, just go ahead and say, yes, I do, and just be done with it before you get axed and school days up in here. Hey, one of the few things she says that I actually agree with, though she's going all. Hey! There she is! And now the chaos ensues! This is what we need! Yes! Since you want to do all that damn teasing and BS, you about to meet your match now. And something's in my eye, of course. I mean, why are you here to even decide if she can join or not? Oh my goodness. Ah, so she's a returner. Okay. Yep, sure was. Hand in hand. Yep, sure did. Yep, yep, sure did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you keep playing around. You keep playing around. You about to get humbled. Why are you being like this? You're not even part of the. And then you're gonna call him gross. You know what? Focus on the person who's trying to enter the club. That's the end of the intro. Yep. Not that harmful. And then you're hitting him. That's why he said that shit, Nagatoro. Stop that shit, bro. You're a second year. Grow up, bro. Come on. She did see him. Getting to the point. Thank you. I like her already. Hits him again. Calls him creepy again. This is the problem. Like, she is not a member of the club. And actually, she's going to be joining judo. She's just here, being a nuisance. That has decent moments that I enjoy. And then goes to being stupid. Yeah, she has a very similar stoic personality to her bigger sister. I mean, they've already been in club with each other, so what you're about to say is not even going to matter. It's not even going to matter. They've already been in a club together before. Doesn't matter. She's already interacted with him before. She probably already knows what he's like. This doesn't mean anything. Damn. There you go. She winning already. Hana winning already. I love her already. What the hell are you doing? Oh, man. Yeah, the plan didn't work. It's an adjustment. But I really want her to stay with Judo, though, because I think that's going to help tame her craziness down a lot, too. So this is going to be good for both of them. Because this has kind of been a semi-toxic setup up to this point, and now they're going to be doing something they love. And this is going to really test if any of these emotions that they've had for each other are legitimate. So yeah, this is going to be good in the long run. And she would be the one. Kama knows what she'd be doing. Oh. She winning already. Also, I did say sister, but she's her cousin. Oh, well, okay, so correction. She's the cousin. That's fine. That works. And now she's distracted. Yo, when you're joining a proper club now, that's how it goes. That's right. Now she's gonna have to interact with her more often now. Mm. Yo, and she puts it out for him to understand too. Says it right then and there. But you damn well know that you want him to be. Stop playing. You get upset if he says that. A new challenger! See, but and this is gonna backfire. You better stop saying stuff like that. We all know it's a lie. And then he BSing himself. I love Galvo. She be pushing the right buttons too to get everything else moving. Yeah. And actually, I'm gonna be happy to see Orihara some more too. She seems pretty cool. Of course you are. A nest of love for you, yo. Ah! Yo, I love Hana already. They've both been hit with their respectable challenges. God. President will just, yep. President will forever stay here. Hey, listen, I love Hana already. That she's now put things into place that are going to move things along tenfold now. And now with Nagatoro being in the judo club, and now Orihara and Gamo that are going to be going after her as tag teams now, this is going to be good for both of them. And hopefully this will finally break Nagatoro out of just this whole teasing, gross, creepy discussion that she always likes to do that's really not amusing at this point. And we'll actually start getting to the real good stuff like the scenes that we saw during the skiing arc and stuff like that. And even with the judo tournament. So this is going to be good for both of them, having that separation. I am going to be sad not seeing Sana, the former art class president now anymore, but it's clear that her cousin, because I've been saying sister, it's clear her cousin is going to do a great job taking that place. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the future here. Mm. Hey. Yo, they are gonna be they are gonna be moving these along. Okay, oh my goodness, I love Hana so much. I love Hana so much. Oh my god. Okay. So, just a couple thoughts here. I already talked about it in the credits. First off, we welcome Hana, the cousin of Sana, who has now left as the art president, and she has graduated now. Senpai is a third year, Nagatoro is a second year. Everyone else has moved up a grade, and this is very exciting times here. Now, of course, a majority of the first half of the episode was back to the antics of Nagatoro, and again, this is what me and my friend just discussed about. And while I still take a more conservative approach to her behavior, because I know that there might be well intention behind it, especially now that we've moved up a grade level, the maturity should also move up with it. They are still adolescents. She's still very much a child that needs to grow up. But I do believe that thanks to the events that wrapped up their first year and his second year respectfully, and the events that have now happened in this episode, I think that things might start moving a little faster in the direction they need to. Hana looks like she absolutely is going to be taking after her cousin, and she's going to really be ruffling some feathers. She clearly knows that it is the forbidden love, and everything that she said in this episode was amazing. I mean, first off, when your girl comes and says, I'm going to join the art club, manages to put 2 plus 2 together right then and there, and pulls her boobs out immediately after, yeah, you got yourself a winner. This girl belongs exactly where she needs to be, and she's going to serve a very fundamental role in this second in this third year for Senpai and the second year for everybody else. So very happy to have her. She was a very welcome member of this cast. And then, of course, back to Nagatoro. I really do like the fact that she's going to join Judo now. And putting aside all of her antics and bad antics and negative antics of this episode, I do believe that this is going to be something to help her focus on. And this will also help calm her. This will help get her down to a state of tolerance. And ultimately, I think that, distance, they always say distance makes the heart, grow stronger. And I think for her senpai and her herself, that this is going to be good for each other, because hopefully when they are able to spend time with each other, even though we did hear her make that comment that she's going to tease him twice, she's going to tease him twice as hard, which I hope that she doesn't, and just focus on actually doing things that help them build a bond and momentum with each other and the relationship that they're trying to have. We'll just have to see how all that plays out. And I think the biggest thing about me that I've tried to do is I have tried to keep faith in Nagatoro, despite how awful she can be sometimes, that she will grow out of this. Now, I know that for some of you guys that I talk to on the forums and some of my in real life friends that watch the show, it's a little bit too big of a hurdle to overcome. And because of how aggressive she is, and the fact that a girl like her is someone that many people would not like to tolerate constantly every single day, every waking moment that you're with the person, I do try to look at it subjectively. I try to be conservative with my approach to Nagatoro, and that has really helped me get through these reactions and get through the entire show up to this point. So I think a lot of great things have now been put into play here as we now move into a new year here, and I look forward to seeing where we go from this point. And as always, I look forward to seeing the time that Nagatoro will actually take it down some levels, and both of them will actually really kind of start being true with each other and their feelings that they have for each other, and just basically start growing up. I do believe Naoto, who has had great advancements with his personality and sternness and standing up to her the last couple episodes, I think he kind of lost a couple kudos for me this episode, because unfortunately it looks like he reverted just a little bit. But I'm also sure that's because there's just a whole lot of overwhelming stuff happening, having to deal with her being back at her overly aggressive antics again, now having to deal with the person that he used to be in art club with back in middle school, who clearly completely takes after our great now former art class president, and he just has a lot going on. But I just want to see him continue keeping that sternness and just sticking up for himself. Every time she calls him gross, honestly, he needs to do a soft punishment with her. She calls him gross, go do your art, walk away. Let her sit in that room by herself. Let her sit for a day or two. I promise you leave her sitting enough, she's gonna stop that shit. Because I think that he has made great progress, and I would just like to see him continue that and not look like he's reverting in his ways of standing up to Nagatoro also. What we know is that they have, even if you can say that it's arguable that it shouldn't have happened because this all happened through bullying, it is very clear that they have now gained a close bond with each other. They clearly have love in their heart for each other, and I think that Nagatoro, she has truly tapped into it a bit more than even he has, but we now need to mature, and maturity is going to be the key here if their relationship has any chance of making it to the next level in a way that I will like and accept. So that's my initial thoughts for the episode, and I'm very interested to know what you guys thought. So let me know your comments in the comments section, and again, I'll be going on my forums and talking about this once I get this posted. So that wraps this reaction up. Thank you so much, guys, for waiting the extra day. Hope you liked the reaction. If you did like it, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And if you want to be one of the first to be notified when a new reaction becomes available, hit the bell icon. So I'll see all of you guys next weekend for another episode of Don't Toy Up Me, Miss Nagatoro Second Attack. And until that time, catch you later.